Well, hello, everyone. This is I've been working on the Philco 3893, and I just wanted to get a video of this. This was not a, although it was looked very original. It was not original. Now I started off with some of the easy stuff. I wanted to make sure these capacitors got replaced because they weren't even in spec at all. I also replaced a resistor right over here. And there's another one I replaced someplace in here. Found another one that was not in tolerance. This one was probably the worst one out. Is that one right there. But this is what you have to deal with when you deal with these old radios. Someone got into this thing. See this wire right here? It's blue. It's coming out of this big capacitor. The color codes for this capacitor are red, blue, and green. But if you look, and in this thing, brown is kind of red. This is what, in the back in these old cloth color stuff, they considered this brown wire to be red. I guess they didn't have a good red dye back in those days. And I really like cloth colored wiring, by the way. It hardly ever has any problems, except it doesn't color code very well. This capacitor appears to be insulated, which means it does not have a common ground. It's not grounded to the chassis at all. It appears to be like a paper tube that's been stuck up into a little bit different than I'm used. Most of the electrolytics I'm normal to. See how this, I'm used to anyway. See how this blue wire has been cut off? And this is the only non-original wire in here, and it's been there a long time. See how it's a rubberized wire and it's starting to crack and fall apart? These connections do not look like factory at all to me. It looks like somebody got in here with a Gigantor soldering iron and moved some wiring around. They cut this wire off. According to the schematic, and I've been through it very carefully, they cut it off. It initially went over here, but they cut it off, put it onto this terminal strip, and reconnected it and put this to the black wire. But the black wire is the common ground. And this is not common ground. Now I chased through the schematic of how this thing was supposed to be wired and found out that the green wire, which is in its original location, and it looks like that's an original, this one right here. It appears to be, that looks like a factory connection to me. This one's been moved. It looked like at one time it used to be here, or connected some other way. They cut this blue wire off, which was long enough to actually probably stretched over there, and then put this black wire in its place. Maybe that was supposed to work. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not exactly sure. If you're on the schematic here, these are the grounds for the electrolytics. If this was the positive side, this is the negative side. It hooks up to the yellow with green trace coming off the power supply. Well, that's pretty easily found. This is yellow with green trace. So it hooks up to common ground. That wire is correct. How this wire got moved onto the common ground, I don't get it. I don't know how this radio worked. Now, usually when I get a radio to this point, and usually I save the electrolytics for last. Lots of times, a lot of people say, oh, I'll replace all the electrolytics. Well, lots of these dry, and I'm not convinced this is what this is, but a lot of these old dry electrolytics, there's nothing to dry out. They were sold as a completely dry unit. And most of them, I haven't had any trouble with them at all. However, I plug this thing in. I've had my signal tracer on it. No matter where I tap into it, my signal tracer says the radio is nice and loud. the speaker is totally silent. I haven't investigated this yet, but I'm going to need to go in and see if I need to ohm out this audio output transformer and this field coil and find out this. I bet you anything that this field coil has gone bad. But it's kind of hard to ohm this thing out when it's still connected in circuit. So anyway, mostly made this for my friend Blake to have a look at, to know that, man, even when they look like they're original and pristine, and they aren't. I also can't figure out how this thing worked with that cut off. Maybe these two wires went to the same location. Why would they cut it off? How does that work? I don't get it. How did that ever work? I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching.